We have starring the Rerum Novarum, which was a letter from the Pope to all the bishops at the time concerning the working classes. So in the Pope's letter, he discussed the relationship between labor and capital, and government and its citizens. And he also declared that workers had the right to sustainable working conditions and good wages. In the Rerum Novarum letter, the Pope says, quote, "It is neither just nor humane to grind men down with excessive labor as to stupefy their minds and wear out their bodies." In this letter, the Pope also condemns the power of industry because these big factories and these big corporations are taking over. We're taking the rights away from the lower class because.
Hello, Adam. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Today we're going to be talking about the foundations of modern economics.
Oh.
Would it be okay if I ask you a couple questions?
I'm up for it.
Okay. Please define your basic ideas.
Ooh, I have this one. It's called the invisible hand. It's a theory that I made. It's about free markets and how they can regulate themselves by any means of competition, supply and demand, and self-interest.
And what do you believe the role of the worker in the industrial age is?
I believe that should be something called like the division of labor, which basically divides workers to their specific talents. For instance, if you were good at making buttons, you should be focused on just making buttons for the shirts instead of trying to knit the buttons on the shirt. And that sounds pretty good.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I like that idea. What do you believe is the role of the middle class, the bourgeoisie, and the owners?
I think the middle class is involved with free trade market, and that should interact with everyone.
And what do you believe is the role of the wealth and capital in the economy?
I think the wealth is a very important factor in human society. I feel like it can fulfill all the desires of human being in the society. And I also believe that the efforts of human society is favored to be directed towards earning more and more money.
Oh, great. Well, you have some really good ideas, and I really appreciate you answering your questions. And
thank you, Adam, for meeting with us. On tonight's Top 10, we're going to talk about Karl Marx and his modern economic theories. Marx lived from 1818 to 1883, and his first point that I want to talk about tonight is that religion, morality, and social structures were all deeply rooted in economics. The third point that I want to cover is that Marx thought that if a place that works together runs on wage labor, then there would always be a class struggle, and therefore workers' economic theories for points 4, 5, and 6 can basically be summed up that workers tended to lose a sense of identity and stability in planning a future because they were directed by the middle class in factories, and within those factories they were considered cogs in a machine, and they were also called units of production. So they just basically lost a sense of identity in their life, and it would cause instability. This brings us to our last point of Marx's top 10, and it's the question, how does history evolve from here? This basically brings us to Marx's theory that history evolves through the interaction between the mode of production and the relationship.
If you could leave me with one joke, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good question. It's my favorite question, actually. I have one. Why can you not hear a pterodactyl use the bathroom?
I have no idea.
Because his pee is silence.